Hey guys, how is it going? Another episode of the TR6, 74 TR6 here, and a quick recap because it's been a while since the last episode. What happened was I wanted to make patches for here, and for this reason I need to roll pressing on the bead roller here, but it turned out I don't have the dies for this step, which turned out to be 3/8 of an inch, a little bit over 3/8, but if it's 3/8 it would work. So my first thought was to turn the 16th of an inch to 3/8 of an inch. I knew that if I turn this diameter smaller, that would make the two shafts go closer and that would make them a little bit tapered, but I didn't think it would be such a big problem. So I tried, but unfortunately, as I expected, this metal is I don't know what is it. It is tempered or it's annealed or whatever. So I don't know what kind of metal is that, but the lathe doesn't want to turn it. So there goes that idea. I know this is also a bad idea. Aluminum, I don't think it's gonna work. Maybe it's gonna work for a while, but it's not a good idea. And this plastic as well. It's very soft, so I can't use those. But KJ found something. Alright, so this is what KJ found, and I think I can use it to make a die for the 3/8 of an inch step. It's a little bit bigger than this, so I think I can use it. I'm thinking I can use a part from here to here for one die and from here to here for another. So I can make the two dies out of this, but the problem is there's this hole here. I don't want to weld because it's going to harden it probably with the MIG welder. If I had thick welder, it might work better, but with the MIG I think it's going to harden. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run tap through that, and I'm going to put a bolt inside. It is a little rusty and it's not running very true, but we're going to make it run through. I made it run as true as possible, but it's bent, so I'm gonna have to turn it down to something, but with the 4-jaw chuck it's much easier because I can do whatever I want. Oh, that's a little bit less than 2 inches, so that's gonna work fantastic. So my next idea was KJ found a chunk of metal that I decided to turn into 3/8 of an inch dies, and it worked for a while. For one die it worked fantastic, but the problem is that when I started working on the second die, the metal wouldn't even budge here. For some reason, I think because KJ cut it on the chop saw and overheated it here, and then he cooled it with water to bring it to me. It turns out that maybe he tempered the steel. I don't know what's going on, but this was here, like that. So it worked pretty well here, even though here it started becoming hard for the lathe. And then here worked a little bit worse, and then here it's impossible. Looks like the closer I come to this end here, the harder the metal, so I can't even turn this. So I made one die, the second I can't do. So I kind of gave up for that day, and over the weekend when I posted the previous video, Mike Windsor commented and gave me a great idea. He said, why don't I just take a pipe and make a ring that goes over the 1/4 inch die, and that's what I did. I couldn't find the proper pipe, but I found those wheels. I don't know what are they, or whatever, but they're not aluminum for sure, so that's good. Out of one wheel I already turned a ring for here, and now we have 3/8 here. That's exactly 1/8 thickness here, so over the 1/4 that's exactly 3/8, and it worked well. I press fitted it on the press, and I have to turn the other one. So that was an easy solution. I spent hours on this on Friday, and it didn't work. So thank you so much, Mike, for your advice. It worked fantastic. Hey guys, welcome to Alaska. Well, it's not Alaska, but there's a lot of snow. It's Toronto, Ontario, Canada, but there's a lot of snow. Yeah, it kept snowing for, I don't know, maybe more than 24 hours now, and it collected over 26 centimeters overnight. 26 centimeters is just about 10 inches. And when the snow plows plowed the snow to the sides into the snow banks, they reached, you see, 1.5 meters or 2 meters in some areas. So yeah, there's a lot of snow. It's not cold, it's -6, I think, -6 Celsius, which is, I don't know what in Fahrenheit, but you see this snow bank. It's a big one, right? Well, I barely made it to work. It took me 2 hours for 24 kilometers, which is a little bit over like 15 miles probably. So it's the traffic was horrible. There are barely cars on the roads, but whoever is out there drives like very slow, and you can't even pass because they're taking 2 lanes, and it is crazy. So yeah, it was a long drive to work, but today it's only me and 2 other guys made it to work, so it's not very busy, and I think I'm gonna jump on the TR6 today. Alright, so back on the TR6, and as far as I remember, because that was like, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago when I last worked on it, I remember that I was dealing with this area here, and I had to make extensions for those pressing, but I didn't have the proper dies for my roller, for my bead roller, so I started making some. And I don't remember how much video I've taken of that, but I made those sleeves that slide right on top of my 1/4 inch dies and turns them into 3/8 inch dies. And I made some tests here, and it looks fantastic. So that was a week ago. So now I'm gonna make another test. I want to make sure that I'm still okay. Oh! And I'm having a little bit of back issues, so it ain't easy. Here. So they're not adjusted. So I'm gonna play a little bit with them. I'm gonna adjust them because look, I made a test before and it worked. That's what I approved. But somebody played with the dice and now they're not adjusted again. So I'm gonna play with them and I'll call you back. Alright, so I did a trial here and this is what I came up with, and it doesn't look bad. Okay, I flipped the dice and it looks like this way it is much easier. And actually this is the one, the new one, this is the first one, this is the second one. They both don't look too bad, but here I was able to follow more precisely the line that I drew, and it's just a handmade line anyway, so it wasn't perfect, but this is the part that's going to be seen from the engine bay, so I don't think it looks bad. So this was of course a test piece, so now we should try and do the proper one on our piece here, but I'm gonna draw another line again. Alright, so I made this more or less perfect line. Now this is the inner. Here I was drawing the outer line, but it looks like it's gonna be easier for me to follow the inner line. So I drew the inner line, which is 2 inches apart, and we will see how it is gonna work. So I have to start on this side now, and that's 18 gauge sheet metal, so that's eventually the piece that we're gonna use now on the car. Bigger piece? Yeah. My back hurts and doesn't help much. Okay. Doesn't look bad, but it became too round. Don't like it. I don't like it. Alright. Technique-wise, it looks great. Shape-wise, not so much. So, okay, what I did, just for fun, I just hammered it down, and I used the English wheel without any pressure, just with the wheels against each other, and flattened it and did it again, and it worked. I wasn't expecting it to work, so that's why I didn't film it. But actually it worked very well. I mean, it flattened very well. It didn't take any shape because there was no pressure on the English wheel. And I did it again, and this time it is much more square and nicer. So I think this is where we're gonna leave it. So one more time, thanks to a YouTuber's advice, I'm able to overcome a problem that I faced. So thank you so much, guys. Thanks everybody who is giving me advices, and I really appreciate that, because this is like a common project, you know. We all work on it and we all have fun with it. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. Alright, so let's put a flange on it here at this level. Okay, so we're gonna cut this somewhere here, and of course we're gonna have to cut all these. And here is the bracket for the relays, for the horn and for the overdrive. So we're gonna have to reproduce this bracket too, because I cut it anyways. When I cut out the rust, I cut the half of the bracket already, so I'm gonna have to make it. Okay, so this patch is ready, but before we weld it there, we're gonna have to repair this little corner here. Alright, so this repair is done, and now we can put our patch here. And now for this position, I'm gonna have to line it up with this surface. So from here all the way to here needs to be a straight line. So it is more or less there. Okay. Alright, it's all done. Well, it looks like the shape is not the exact same shape. Maybe it's 1/16 of an inch shorter, like smaller here than here. But hey, I'm happy. Anyway, so now let's fill up this hole. Oh yeah, that's what it looks like inside. Well, I know it's dark. Well, it needs grinding. For sure it needs grinding, so that's gonna happen later though. When I fill up the other hole right there, and then we're gonna grind it inside. Alright, so I took the shape of this pressing from the other side, and this is the shape of the inner line. Like, you see, because this is the line that I need for the bead roller. And I have this piece of sheet metal here, which is a little bit too big, but that's fine. So I need to go a little bit lower, but it hits there. So I'm gonna lay this something like that, and then I'm gonna move it further in because I need flange for here, and I'm gonna move it up because I need this entire thing to go a little bit lower. And I think that's where we're gonna have it. So now I'm gonna mark it here, and we're gonna do our bead rolling. Let's try to do it on the first try this time. Not bad. Almost followed the line. For some reason, the step became too wide. It needs to be narrower. You know what? I'm gonna do it again. I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna have to do it again. Alright, so now I'm gonna adjust the dice on the bead roller and we're gonna try again. Alright, so I adjusted the dice on the bead roller a little bit, so now we have a shorter step, looks like. And we're gonna try again. Okay, now the tricky part is to figure out where to bend the flange, but we're gonna figure it out. First of all, we have to get rid of this. And this is where our patch needs to end. Like that. Well, here's our flange. Actually, I can mark it on the rear end. Actually, I cut this off because we don't need it. And there we go. Okay, but we don't want to cut all the way here. We want to cut here somewhere, right? Okay, so I shaped a little bit the opening that we want to fill up, and lay it there flat. Okay, that's it. And now I can mark the shape at the back. So that's our patch. Okay, that's pretty close. Alright guys, I need you to tell me honestly, can you live with that? I mean, everything looks nice, and it's not the best here, it's not seamless obviously, but that's not what worries me. This line here, it should be parallel to the top edge, right? I didn't even finish grinding it. I know I have to grind it more, but I was just wondering, can you live with that? Yeah, you want to see it inside, on the inside? Okay, let's go see it inside. I know, right? Nobody can see that. Except you and me and everybody else. Oh, I don't like it. I really don't like it. Of course it needs to be ground. I know it needs to be ground, but that's not my problem. The problem is that top line over there. And there's gonna be wires there and stuff, so nobody's gonna see it. Yeah, I think so. Let's leave it alone. Let's not bother about it. And in this case, our hole here that we had to fill today is done. So yeah, so we're gonna proceed in the next video. So thanks for commenting and watching and subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Still here, guys? You're still here? Okay. Oh, everything is fine. I was just looking at it. It's nice and... Okay, I can't live with that. Of course I can't live with that. We're gonna make it the proper way. One more time. Did you really think I was gonna leave it like that? Oh my god, you don't know me, guys. Of course I would fix it. But you know what? I've heard some people saying that it was okay. And I know who you are.